What's up, how you doing? Here we are, beautiful day today. Very sunny, nice temperature. We have a breeze going at about 3.1 miles per hour west to east. Very nice day. Lots of sun. It's overwhelming right now. So I have some steak here I'm gonna make right there, and delicious pasta from Napoli. Setaro pasta from Italy. It's made in Italy, Napoli more specifically. And this is a fine product. I highly recommend it. Even comes in a nice bag. Very nice bag. So I'm gonna make that and enjoy some pasta today. Have some good sauce. Also made in Italy. Yeah, today is a very nice day. It's a good beach day. Go to the beach, set up a tent there, maybe have a little barbecue at the beach. Right around now, this time of year, beach is not busy at all. Like, I've been up to Leo Carrillo. So years and years ago, I preferred, that's because I wouldn't go up there, but I preferred to go down to Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, those areas, and I'd go there and hang out. But nowadays, I prefer to go to Leo Carrillo every once in a while. Get to climb things, and plenty of rocks, plenty of trails there. Where Redondo and Manhattan are flat, there's no rock formations. But every once in a while I go down there. I go to Malibu, go to the Neptune's Net, great clam chowder there, and scallops are great. So yeah, but tonight's gonna be pasta night. Why? Because it's Wednesday, and everybody knows that Wednesday is pasta night. Specifically, when I grew up, it was Prince Spaghetti night. That dominated my house on Wednesdays, Prince Spaghetti. Now, I don't use Prince Spaghetti anymore because you can't get it out here. But I do use Setaro. They also make spaghetti and you name it, any kind of pasta, they make it. Got a little plane going by. Single engine. I do not trust those with the single engine. Like to have at least two. In case you lose one, you got a backup. And, airplanes, the big ones, they should have a parachute system. Those massive parachutes like they have when they throw tanks out of airplanes, those heavy Abrams tanks, they have a parachute system. Well, an airplane should have, 4 or 5 of those parachutes, maybe more, maybe 6. And in the event of an emergency, something happens, pilot hits the button, or even automatic after a certain altitude, maybe you reach 5,000, 6,000 feet, parachutes deploy, and the plane comes down nice and smoothly, nice and easily. Where now it falls like a rock. You lose the engines, and it doesn't glide down like a nice paper airplane gliding. No, it does not glide down. What it does is it just, after the plane, gravity slows it down to under 130 miles per hour or something, then there's not enough wind resistance, and the plane just drops. But if you had parachutes at the top, inside, you'd hit the button, or like I said, automatic, and then they would deploy, and the plane would come down nice and soft. I know somebody must have thought of this. Somebody, this is not, difficult to come up with. Helicopters, that's another issue. propeller spinning, and it's not high enough. You don't have time on a helicopter. You know, if you jump out of a helicopter with a parachute, you may get hit by the blade if the helicopter's falling with you. But on an airplane, you know, and the other thing I never understood about airplanes, why they don't float when they hit the ocean. You know, you would think they would hit the ocean and then float on top like a boat. But majority of the time they sink. There's a movie I saw when I was a kid, the plane, I forget what it was called. Might have been one of those airport movies. The plane hits the ocean and sinks to the bottom. But it's airtight, so the people inside are alive, but they're too deep. I don't remember what happened to them, but you know, I never understood why planes can't be made out of material that floats. Is it not strong enough? Can't they use that spider web material, like take it and make it thicker, and you know, like they always say it's 30 times or whatever more stronger. Not more stronger, that's a double there. But that they're strong, it's stronger than steel by 30 times. So you know, maybe mass produce that material, and I don't know, does that float? I don't know. But yeah, it's a weird thing. If you lose the engines on an airplane, and at least on a 747, you had 4 of them. You could lose 3 of them and still be able to land. Where nowadays, most planes have 2. You lose 1, that's it. You're going down like Rocky Marciano. Although they didn't lose an engine on his plane. I think they clipped something like a fence or a wire, something. The plane hit something on takeoff, or you know. But anyway, really nice. And I wouldn't mind buying a couple of birds for the backyard, but I don't believe birds should be in cages, so that would be a conflict for me. But you know, train them to stay in the yard. You know, like they can go where they want to go, but they have to come back. You can't do that. They won't listen. I see parrots, you know, they clip the wings, but if you clip the wings on a parrot and keep it outdoors, like, you know, leave it out here somewhere. We have cats that roam around looking for stuff, and they're great hunters. A cat will get that parrot and eat it. There was a little cat out here not too long ago, black one. I came out and it heard me and it took off. But every spring, so right about now, there should be more being born. I don't know where they come from, but there's a couple of cats that are getting together at night and doing the thing. And then I don't know how many weeks later, but we get a bunch of them. Most of them do not survive. There's other animals out like possums or opossums, raccoons. That's about it. I think that's the main competition. I don't think like, you know, squirrels get involved in a cat fight. Those squirrels are more like nuts and stuff. They don't mess around with you know, you don't see a squirrel taking out a raccoon or something. Many years ago, when my kids were younger, we saw an opossum in the pool, baby one. It's like that, you know, that big. And I came out here in the morning, and it was swimming for its life. Couldn't get out because the water was not high enough. It was going back and forth. So I grabbed the net that we have, not a net Funicello, but we have a net, a regular net. And I took it out of the water and I put it in a box, and I washed it, and it was loaded with fleas. But I gave it a little wash with some I have cat shampoo, and I got rid of all the fleas. I rinsed it, and when it dried, it was very happy, very happy. I fed it. I brought out some canned tuna, opened up the canned tuna, dumped it in there, and the opossum ate it. And then after a few days, I said to my kids, we're gonna drop it off at Franklin Canyon. So I took my kids up to Franklin Canyon. I put the opossum in the back of the truck, and we went up there to a nice location with a stream. Nice stream, nice wooded area, a lot of vegetation there, and we let the opossum leave and took off. Had a better life than in the city. That's all woods, and who knows, maybe, I don't know, a couple hours later, a big raccoon came by and ate it. That's the second time. Another time, many years ago, there was another opossum that we captured. That one was tiny too, and we brought that one to the Bronson Caves. So took my kids up there, and then I released it, and then it did that playing dead thing, and it wouldn't leave. And I'm like, go, because something else is going to come and take you. So anyway, I figured maybe if we back up far enough, it'll, take off. And after a little bit of, talking to it, we backed up about 20 feet, and the opossum got up and took off. I don't even know why you need the O, but I think it sounds better if you just say possum. Like Granny. Didn't Granny on Beverly Hill Billies talk about that stuff? Possum soup. I had a bus ride one time, and I've mentioned this. Mama's boy going home, give Mama a kiss on the cheek. But I mentioned one time, I had a video about a story. I was on a Greyhound bus, and a dude and his family got on the bus. He had his wife and son and a daughter, and there was one seat next to me, and I said, oh, he's probably going to come here. And I had my Walkman and everything, so he sits next to me, and he was very talkative. Started talking to me, but from the time he got on, and he was talking like hours straight. He told me everything about his family, how they eat roadkill. He was telling me, they were visiting in Kentucky his wife's people, and they had hit something. I forget what animal it was, and he said it was fresh roadkill. We took it, and he kept telling me everything about his wife, about issues that he had with her, about how his pastor fixed those issues, and on and on and on. And after like the fourth hour or whatever, fifth hour maybe, I said, okay, he stopped for like a minute. I said, all right, good opportunity. I'm going to put my Walkman on now and kind of take a little snooze because I'm a little bit tired. So I put the Walkman on, the headphones on, and he turns to me, and corner of my eye, I could see that the mouth was going again. So I took him off, and I listened to him. So this went on for 11 hours. 11 hours. At one point, we stopped in Indiana, and we went into Burger King. There's a Burger King where the bus stops, and I got some food, and he he finished his meal, and then he started talking to me again. 11 hours. I remember at one point he mentioned several times about his rent being ridiculous, and it was very high. And so I said, okay, if he says that again, I said in my brain, I said, if he says that again, I'm gonna ask him out of curiosity, what is the rent where you live? And so he brought it up again. He was saying, yeah, I pay crazy rent. And I said, what do you pay for rent? And he's like, yeah, $225 a month. And I said, $225 a month? That sounds like 1970s prices. And keep in mind, this was like, I think 92, 93, around there. So I go, yeah, that's not high. And not only that, he described the place, with, was it like 3 bedrooms, kitchen, bath, all that necessary stuff. And I was thinking $225. So he continued talking. I became an expert in his life. Like, I knew everything about him now at this point. And then we got into French Lick, Indiana. And he says to me, I'm close to my stop. I'm getting up. I said, okay. So all of a sudden, a little bit past French Lick, we end up in a I don't know what it was, like a huge parking lot. It was empty. There was trees all around, parking lot. Bus pulls in there. It's nighttime now. Stops there, and he's the only one with his family that gets off there. So he says bye, I say bye, and he got off. They opened up the bottom of the truck, the bus, took off the luggage, and I'm looking out the window, and I see the three of them with their luggage just walking into the darkness. I'm like, there's no houses around here, there's no cars, where are these people going? So, I have no idea. But there's been many characters that I've run into on a Greyhound bus. I used to take Greyhound a lot in my younger days. I would go all over the place with Greyhound, and you run into a lot of characters. There was one guy who had gotten a divorce from his wife, and she had gotten custody of the baby, a little baby, and he had it on the Greyhound bus heading for LA. But he got on the other side of the country, and there were these black ladies that were, I don't know if they were together, but they would take turns taking care of the baby. So one would have it for a couple hours, then she'd pass it on to the next one, there was like 4 of them, and then eventually he would get it again, and then at nighttime they would watch it, he would sleep, and then at some point he would wake up. So I was like, this guy's kidnapping the baby. And there were no cell phones in those days, but nobody, apparently he told the story to everybody, and I guess everybody sympathized with him. I didn't hear the story. But yeah, there were these black women that were sharing the time necessary to take care of the baby. Baby was really little. Like, I want to say he was like 4 months old, 5 months. So yeah, he told everybody about how his wife had custody and how he. So I don't even know why he would mention that. In today's world, somebody would have been on the phone, 911. Yeah, we have a guy on here. He's bragging about kidnapping his child from his wife. You want to come grab him? And the next town, the cops would be waiting. So I don't know whatever happened with that. Then in Albuquerque one time I had a stop, switch buses there, and there was like a couple-hour delay. So we're sitting, and trying to kill time, and it was kind of chilly too, so we're all like bundled up a bit. And there's this guy who looks like Steve Perry from Journey, and he's there, and I see he goes over and he purchases a bottle of NyQuil, the cold medicine, and he sits near me, and he's explaining how he always drinks a bottle of NyQuil when he travels far because he falls asleep, and it makes the ride feel a lot shorter. So finally the bus is gonna come to our location, so they tell us to go outside and wait for the bus. And as he's sitting there, he's drinking it like a wino. He's like taking sips out of the bottle, and I'm like maybe 3-4 feet away from him, and he looks over at me, and he goes, you want a little bit? And I go, I'm all set. If I wanted some, I would have bought my own. I wouldn't be sharing it with you like we're on the corner here somewhere, bunch of bums. So anyway, he drank it, and then, well, he didn't drink it all at that point, but we got on the bus, and I sat in the back seat, and I could see him. He was on the right side, maybe like 7 or 8 rows up, and every so often he would open up his little NyQuil and take a little drinky poo, and then he passed out. And then we had another guy on another ride. He was from Texas, had that big hat, that big Texas hat. He had a beard, and he had a son. His son's name was Zeke. I know that because he kept yelling at Zeke throughout the ride. But this guy had a thermos, and it was full of coffee. And every, 20 minutes or so, he'd fill up his cup, and he'd sip all day coffee. And then we would stop at a rest stop somewhere, and he would go inside, and he would say, fill this up, and they would fill it up for him, and he would continue drinking the coffee. But he was very edgy, especially with the son. I felt like any moment he was gonna, give the son a backhander. But anyway, so it ends up turning into night, and on a Greyhound bus, everybody goes to sleep. So I was sleeping, and then at some point I woke up, and everybody on the bus was sleeping except for this guy from Texas who drank coffee all day. He was wide awake. He had the eyes open and he was sipping coffee. He didn't sleep 1 minute. I don't know, I mean, maybe he can't sleep on a bus, but he didn't sleep 1 minute. And then the next day he was yelling at Zeke, which when I would hear the name Zeke, I thought it was like Gleek. What was that monkey from the superheroes that the Wonder Twins had? So that's what I was hearing, Zeke, Gleek. But I have a ton of stories from traveling on Greyhound. And not really any bad experiences, you know, just experiences, but not bad. Anyway, I'm going to grill the steak and make the pasta, and that's it for now. I'll be back later. Ciao.